Hey everybody and welcome to the bullshit party. And in this one we're going to be taking a closer look at the new Podium vehicle, the Podium GP1. And as usual I like to start these things by seeing how interactive the car is, basically to see what I can open on it. And I'm happy to report that the Podium GP1 is very interactive. You can open both doors, the hood and the front. And from a design standpoint I think the car looks just superb. So let's close everything down and look at the interior before we head out to Los Santos Customs to customize it. I believe the expression that best fits the interior is less is more. I personally like it and I do appreciate the change they made to the driver's seat position. I'll talk about that a little bit later, but first let's see if the car is an all-wheel drive or a rear-wheel drive. As I said in my previous video, I've owned this car before, but I don't remember a lot about it except that it was a rear-wheel drive car. Well, that and that the exhaust note was awesome, but more on that later. Now it's time to head to Los Santos Customs and see what we can customize on this bad boy. And my first thoughts on how the car performs when it's stock is that the tail end is a little slidey. Not to say it's hard to control, but when you hit a bump, it's hard to say where the car is gonna go. And yes, that's gonna be my excuse for driving horribly all the way to Los Santos Customs. Something that I wanted to mention about the car that this one is based off of, the McLaren F1. That is one of the most unusual cars ever made, in the sense that it had only 3 seats. Well, that and it was the fastest car for about 10 years, but let's focus on the seats now. The seat configuration for the McLaren is there's one seat in the middle of the car, for the driver, and 2 passenger seats, one behind either side of the driver. Now, although that configuration is awesome and very cool in real life, I don't know if it was gonna translate very well to GTA Online. So as I said before, I'm glad they went with the 2-seat option for this one. Yeah, I don't know why I'm getting so many calls. Let's pretend we don't see the scratches on the bumper and go into the shop and customize it. When this car leaves the shop, it's gonna look drastically different.
What miracle did you want me to perform?
And as usual, the first thing that I want to show when I enter the Los Santos Customs is the sell price of the car. I'm noticing that a lot of people who actually make tutorial videos on how to win the car don't win it, and I wanted to call them out. So there. And with that done, it's time to max out all the performance options before we go into customizing anything. I've been asked before, why don't I upgrade the armor of the car? And the answer is simple, because I don't want to. Or more specifically, because it's useless, at least for me it is. I don't do races and I don't do stunt races, so what I use my cars for is just to take them for a ride and have fun with them. So it doesn't really matter if they have 100% armor or no armor at all. If someone's being an asshole griefer and wants to kill you, they're gonna kill you regardless of how much armor you have on your car. And the first thing that we're gonna be customizing on the exterior of the car is the front bumper. And since this is a classic sports car, I wanted to preserve the feel of a classic sports car. We don't get a lot of options for the rear diffuser, but that's okay because I really like the last one. Just glancing over all the customization options we have for the car, it's pretty incredible the depth we can go into. I mean, how many GTA Online cars can have their engine covers changed? No, I don't know, I'm legitimately asking. How many? And next up is the exhaust, and here we have a plethora of options. We have some that look cool, some that look stupid, some that look somewhere in between. But all in all, I have a lot of options here, so I can't really complain. Can I? Let's just agree and say that the guy that was designing these was overcompensating for something. Finally, going with the dual exhaust is gonna be the most reasonable option here. Next up we have the hood catches, and this does not belong on a McLaren. GP1. Gone with you, and let's see what's next. The headlight covers. No. Okay, I guess we'll go with the primary color ones. And I'm being a little bit weirded out here. I don't remember if the original McLaren had these. But doesn't matter, whatever the case is, I'm gonna go with the primary colored ones and go to the hood options. And oh, the options are just abysmal. I think I want to keep the car as clean as possible, so I'm gonna go with this one. Or the stock one. Or this one. Nothing to do here. Lights, nothing here. And next up we have the mirrors. No. Race mirrors, that sounds good. And even though I hate how the mirrors look, I'm gonna buy them. because they're race mirrors. I've shared my philosophy before of how I always choose black plates before I choose the color of the car, and then if the color doesn't match for some reason, I change the color of the plate. And while I was rambling about license plates, we are looking at the rear covers of the car. This looks awesome, and this is another one of those customization options that not a lot of cars have. Skirts, of course, we're gonna go with a custom skirt. As for the spoiler, I don't really like how most spoilers look on cars. So if I have the option in GTA Online, I'm usually gonna keep it as is. And on this car, the spoiler does not seem to impact the traction bar. Regardless of which spoiler you choose, you're gonna get the exact same traction. Yep, so let's just go with stock, and let's see what's next. Just making sure the transmission and the turbos are both maxed out. Tinting the windows just a little bit, and with everything else customized, it's finally time for the moment you've all been waiting for. Let's respray the car. For those of you who are not a subscriber, well, first of all, what's wrong with you? Go subscribe. And secondly, I put a poll up a couple of days ago asking you guys what color do you want me to paint the car in this quote-unquote review video. It has 3,000 voters, so I'm actually excited to see what the results are. Well, as a wise man once said, promise made, promise kept. Let's look at the colors. Oh, my finger slipped. Okay, let's ruin some automotive history. It looks absolutely stunning, fantastic and gorgeous. Can't wait to drive it on the street, and actually this is one of the first times that I'm happy that I'm in an invite-only session. Nobody else can see it. Well, nobody else aside from the thousands of people that are gonna watch this video, I guess. Yeah, I didn't really think it through, did I? Anyway, secondary color yellow, cause why not? And the inside trim is gonna be yellow as well. At this point, the car is beyond saving. And if you like the video so far, make sure to subscribe to this channel cause I will be doing those polls in the future. Basically, your guys are gonna be able to single-handedly ruin my cars. Thank you. And for the Mr. YouTube algorithm, that was a thank you with a TH. At this point, putting rims on this car is gonna be like putting rims on a donkey. A bright pink, shiny, stupid donkey. But I digress. Let's see which rims are gonna fit the donkey best, I mean the car. And after, no joke, 5 minutes, I decided to go with the original ones. So let's get out of the garage and see how this baby looks outside. I appreciate the shadow. If you squint hard enough, it almost looks orangey. Shut up, I can dream. Color aside, let's see the most important thing. Let's see how the performance is after we upgraded it. Okay, clearly upgrading the components didn't make me a better driver, but let's see how it handles. Oh my god, did you see that? The car feels extremely flimsy and unstable and almost jumpy. Kinda like the new Tesla Roadster's supposed to be. Hashtag Elon Musk. And this, kids, is how you deal with road rage. But back to the GP1, it sounds absolutely fantastic both before and after upgrading it, but the barely controllable car has become uncontrollable. It's by far not the worst car that I've driven in the game, but there's something very, very wrong there. Okay, that was my fault. I don't remember the car handling this way before, but it might have. And that actually might be a legitimate reason of why I sold it in the first place. One thing that I haven't mentioned yet that I do want to say is that there is a very, very cool supercharger whine when you lay off the gas. Skipping a little bit ahead to the beach, I was very, very surprised to see how this car handled in the sand. Don't you love those people that tell you how realistic GTA Online is? Anyway, as I was saying, the car handles superbly on the sand. And the reason for that might be because the sand is flatter than the roads. If you notice, the car jumped around and just went all over the place when there were potholes inside. And seeing how the game is designed after a virtual Los Angeles, there are gonna be potholes everywhere. But the sand eliminates that. It turns a jumpy, unpredictable car into something very, very fun to drift with. In closing, I'd say that is the car worth it depends on several factors, one of which is when are you watching this video. If you're watching this in the week of July 23rd, 2020, it's the Podium car, so you can get it for free. If that's an option for you, go ahead and get it. It's an awesome garage queen. unless you paint it pink. But even with the awesome looks and the dope sounding exhaust, I don't think I can recommend you buy this for anything over $500,000. And that'll be bringing an end to this video. Thank you so much to everybody who watched, hopefully you liked the video, and if you did, please don't forget to leave a like, it really helps out the channel a lot. If you're not yet a subscriber and want to stay tuned for future content, make sure to subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. You thought I was gonna crash there, didn't you?